So, I did not plan on making this video, but unfortunately I have to make it because this is every BMW owner's worst nightmare. But before I go into the story, let me tell you guys some insight of exactly what happened, because what you guys just saw was my car on the flatbed. So the app Snapchat, if you save a video a year from now, it'll remind you that this memory happened a year ago. And that's exactly what happened when I was at work. It said that I purchased my BMW a year ago, and I was like, that's awesome. When I get off of work, I'm going to go hoon around, make a whole video of exactly what I did to this BMW in a year, and just have some fun. So I get off of work, and my plan was to go to the gym and then go create that video. So I get home, change, and then I'm driving to the gym. Everything's going great, and then my temperature gauge pops up on my dash. And I was like, great. So I'm literally turning into my parking lot to my gym, and I park, and I go check my antifreeze, and of course it's super low, and the water isn't squirting into the antifreeze pump. Because with the water pump with these BMWs, water is supposed to squirt into your antifreeze, and that's how it keeps it cool. And no water was squirting into the antifreeze box. So I call my mechanic and I let him know what's happening, and he tells me to just let it sit for a little bit and let it cool down. So that's exactly what I do. I go inside to the gym for an hour and a half, and I come back and I start the car, I let it run for a little bit, and of course the temperature light comes back on. So I'm like, shit, what should I do? Like, should I take my chances and try to drive it to my house, even though that the temperature gauge is hot right now and my car is overheating? So I just take the chance. I'm just gonna drive my car and try to get home as fast as I can. So I'm driving to my house, and when I'm leaving the parking lot, I try to give it gas and nothing's happening. And I'm like, holy shit, this is not good. I'm literally putting my gas all the way to the floor, and the car isn't moving. It's literally in the limp mode right now. And BMWs are known for going into this limp mode, and once you give it gas, it won't do anything. It literally feels like it's in neutral, but nothing's happening. No gas throttle response or anything. So I'm like, wow, this is really bad, and because I've never had this happen to me before. So I'm driving home, and it is barely making it. Like, I'm going like 20 miles per hour, if that, and I'm on a main road, and I have my hazards on, of course, but it's just not looking good. So I get to my house and I make it home. So I make it home, and I'm pulling in front of my house, and it's barely going. Like, I'm like limping it just into the parking spot. So of course the first thing I do when I get home is I go do some research and to see if it is the water pump that can be this issue, because there are some ways that you can test the water pump to see if it's bad. So I go ahead and I diagnose my car. I'm watching all these YouTube videos. I'm doing the test with my BMW to see if the water pump can turn on, and it's not turning on. I'm like, great. So I guess I just have to order a water pump. So I get on ECS.com, you know, the place I always go to get my BMW parts, and I order a new water pump. And I let it sit for a good week and a half until the water pump gets here. And when the water pump gets here, I knew I was going to have to get a flatbed, because there was no way I was going to drive it in limp mode all the way to my mechanic shop. So I'm calling around looking to find a tow bed, a flatbed of any sort that's going to fit my car so that my bumper doesn't get messed up on, because I know that some flatbeds are just angled, a super bad angle, so lower cars can't really get on there. So I'm calling around my area, and I find a tow truck after like calling 5 places, because like not that many people were guaranteeing that my car was going to fit. And my car isn't the lowest car by any means, but I just didn't want my front bumper, which is very expensive, to get ruined or anything like that. So I get the tow truck, and he said that he'd be there in an hour. So he pulls up, and he gets here. And of course my camera, my brand new camera that I'm recording on right now, doesn't decide that it likes the memory card, and I need to format the memory card to this camera. And I've never done this before, because this is the first video I've recorded on this brand new camera, which is a Canon M6. I just purchased this one. And I'm like, wow, great. Now I can't even record the tow truck going, I'm like, great, now I can't even record my car going on the tow truck to make even like this video, like vlog of this whole situation, because I thought it was just the water pump. And I'm like, alright, I guess I can show us doing the water pump install, because this is known issue for these BMW 335i's. and the camera's not working, so I have to pull out my phone, and I'm gonna show you guys the footage right now. Well guys, we just got to Gustavo's shop, getting the Beamer unloaded. It's sad I had to bring it here this way, but shit happens. So as you guys just saw, my car got safely loaded onto the flatbed, and which I was really happy about because I did not want anything to go wrong with my front bumper. I know I'm stressing my front bumper so much, but I didn't want anything to get damaged when it was getting pulled onto the flatbed. So I get to my mechanic shop, and we do the install for the water pump, and I'm going to show you guys that right now.
Have you considered the Subaru Outback? It's surprisingly roomy and comfortable with a lot of passenger space. And want to keep your journey safe with available eyesight driver assist technology for an extra set of eyes on the road. And Apple CarPlay, it's a game changer. It'll reach your text messages. No more distracted driving.
That's like a mini turbo. Right? Got new turbos, guys.
Before you use it like a turbo.
That's right.
Electrical turbo.
That's so funny. Little turbo, guys. That's what it looks like. Alright guys, so we got the new water pump right here, and we got the new thermostat in the box. So after spending all that money on the water pump and paying my mechanic, because obviously I pay my mechanic good for always doing good work on my car, it's not the water pump. We go to start the car after we install all these parts. We bleed all the antifreeze and we do the water pump or whatever, and it's all installed, and we go to start the car, and of course it doesn't start. So we're like, great, maybe it's the battery, because it has been sitting here in front of my house for like a week and a half, waiting for the part to arrive. So we go check my battery, and with BMWs, the battery is located in the trunk, not in the engine bay and the hood, underneath the hood. So if it was underneath the hood, I would have spotted this before. But when we go to check the trunk where my battery is located, we move the plastic box that sits over it, my battery is filled with water. And the crazy thing is too, is I wasn't the first one to spot the water. I was literally sitting in my car trying to get it to start, and my mechanic Gustavo, he's like, "Hey Jay, your battery's filled with water." And like literally my eyes just open. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I literally run out my car and I go to the trunk, and it's it's drowning in water, and I'm just like, what the hell? I look at it, I'm like, have you ever even seen this before? Because I have never seen someone's battery like floating in water. And I'm going to show you guys that clip right now. So as you guys just saw, I was freaking out. Like, I was really worried that a whole bunch of shit was going to be wrong with my car. And I was like, no, this cannot be happening. Like, I asked him, I'm like, do you think it's water? How do you think the water got in here? Do you think it's battery acid? And of course, Gustavo doesn't have these answers for me because he had never seen something like this before. So the only thing we could do is take out the battery very safely. I thought he was going to get electrocuted once he went to go grab the battery out, but nothing happened. He grabbed the battery, dislocated it, pulled it out, and now it's just this bucket full of water, this box full of water that my battery sits in. So we have to go ahead and take out this, like, I don't even know what it's called, like a pump that sucks out water, and we're just doing that over and over, trying to get this, my battery locator dry. And once we get everything dry, we look at the cables, and the female and male cables have corroded. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be very expensive, because it was literally both of the cables that you need to locate your battery, and they were corroded. There was no way you could reuse them. They were almost like eaten off, like as if it was acid. And I'm like, wow, I'm in really deep shit right now. Like, I don't know what to do. My mechanic has like really no idea what to do, and we're on Google like searching up these battery parts, because obviously I knew I need a new battery, but I also need the female and male connectors for this BMW. So we're looking online or whatever, and he just decides that he's gonna go to AutoZone while I get an Uber back to my house, because I really did not think we were going to be able to fix my car that day, because we had already been working on it for about 4 hours throughout that day, and I knew he wanted to go home, so I didn't think he was going to want to work on it anymore. But of course, Gustavo, the awesome man, mechanic, master that he is, he stayed and figured out and fixed my BMW, got all the female male connectors for the battery all replaced. And yeah, I went to Walmart the next day, bought a battery, and then came to his shop. We plugged it back in, the connectors looked brand new, and the car started. Now, we fixed one problem, guys, but there was also the other main issue, and that is, how the hell did this water get into my trunk? Like, we had no idea. And we're doing some research online, and some people are saying it comes from the sunroof. I guess there's like a sunroof leak with like some cars, and like I guess water streams down into the trunk, blah blah blah. I don't really know too much, so I can't really give you guys too much information of how that water gets in there. But let me tell you guys this, I did figure out how this water got into my trunk. So when I got home from my mechanic shop, I'm obviously going over the whole car, trying to see if there's any seals that are like cracked, that this water can be going into my trunk. And there's none. Like, my seals around my window seal and the sunroof are fine. There's no cracks. The rubber seal is still perfectly fine. So I'm like, what the hell can it be? So I'm looking in the trunk, and of course I'm looking around like all the areas of the trunk and the taillights. And when I go to reach my taillight and the bolts from behind it, there was two screws that were completely loose, like so loose that I could use my finger to tighten them. And I was like, yep, I just found out where my issue was, and I can't believe this just cost me this X amount of money when it wasn't my water pump that needed to be replaced. It was just a simple mistake that me and David, yeah, shout out to you, David. This is kind of my fault and your fault too, but I'm not mad at all or whatever. But when we went to go vinyl wrap my car, we took out the taillights, and when we took out the taillights, we forgot to tighten the right side taillight, and of course that's where my battery is located. From this simple mistake, it cost me so much money. But I got the BMW running perfectly now. It is completely fine. There is no leaking of any water. It just rained here just a few days ago, and I checked. That was the first thing I did when I went to go check it, is to see if there was any water in it. But nope, it's completely dry, guys. It was just that 2 bolts that cost me so much money in this situation. But I hope I could help anyone out if they find themselves in this situation and I save them money. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I wish I didn't have to make it, but you know, shit happens in life. You just have to roll with it. It's part of the process, baby. You gotta keep rolling. But anyways, guys, we out here. Peace.